Hey, Steve Jolly with the Home Buying Skills Channel. On today's show, we're going to talk about how much money will you make selling your home. Are you ready to get started? Let's get to business. So let's talk about how much money are you going to bring home with the sale of your home. Now, so we're talking about the proceeds of the sale after all your expenses, after paying off your loan, after paying for commissions and property taxes and HOA fees and transfer fees. How much money are you actually going to be bringing home to put in your pocket or in your bank account, or to buy your next home? I'll show you how to figure that out. Now, the proceeds that are wired to you after the sale of your home can vary a lot based on things like your mortgage payment and the expenses that you agreed to pay in the purchase and sale agreement. So let's dig into that and start out with the net sheet. So what is a net sheet? A net sheet will tell you the amount of money you're going to net on the sale of a home after all the expenses have been paid. And before you accept an offer on your home, maybe even before you set a price on listing your home, you're going to want a net sheet so you'll know how much proceeds you can expect when you sell your home. Now, if I'm completing one early in on the process, I'm usually going to give you at least 3 net sheets. So if I tell you I think your home will sell between $580,000 and $600,000, I'm going to give you a net sheet at $600. I'm going to give you a net sheet at $590, and I'm going to give you another net sheet at $580. And that way you can see how much money you're going to make at each price point and what the difference is in expenses. And that way, if you decide to accept an offer and you accept an offer, let's say at $583, you know approximately what you're going to net proceeds before you even accept that offer. Now, the things that are going to affect your proceeds are the sales price, your mortgage payoff, property taxes, HOA fees, the commission you're paying to your agents, and any other closing costs or fees that you agree to pay for in the purchase and sale agreement. Let's walk you through a net sheet example so you can see how it works for you. Now, most attorneys and title companies have software on their website where you can go and calculate a net sheet if you want to do this for yourself. But really, your agent should be doing this for you to make sure it's done correctly and all the appropriate costs and expenses are accounted for. Now, this net sheet you're looking at here is from my favorite local title company, Momentum Title. You're going to start out by entering this sales price in the net sheet. That's the first piece of information that they want to have. And remember, if you're doing this early on in the process and you have a range that you think your home might sell to, you're going to want to do 3 separate net sheets with at least 3 prices. The next piece of information that's important is the closing data. What day is this property going to close? If you're doing it early in the process, you're not exactly sure, so you're just going to have to guess a date in the future, and you'll just know that if it adjusts, then you'll have to go in and do another net sheet to see what those costs really are. But if you have a contract, you pretty much know when it's going to close, and so you can use that contract closing date as the closing date in your net sheet to make sure your cost estimate is as close as possible to the actual costs. And just realize that that closing date affects anything that's prorated. So like property taxes and HOA fees are going to be 2 of the biggest things. So if you end up holding onto a house longer, you're probably going to end up having to pay more property taxes and more HOA fees than you would have if it had closed a little bit earlier. So just keep that in mind. Now, the next thing you're going to want to know is your mortgage payoff. And I know you can go and pull up your last statement and it'll say approximately what you owe. But that's not going to be exactly what your payoff is. There are probably some fees and other things that your bank, some interest that your bank's going to add to that to get your actual payoff. So if you want to be the most accurate, go ahead and call your bank and get a payoff from them. They'll give it as of a certain date, and you can use the closing date that you're planning on to get that payment information. However, if you just want a ballpark number, you can go ahead and use the number that's in your statement, or maybe use a number that's just slightly higher than that to give yourself a little bit of cushion. And the next thing you're going to want to add in there, your expenses, is your real estate commission. And realize there is no standard commission. Real estate commissions are negotiable. So whatever you negotiated with your agent and whatever he negotiated to pay to the other agent, the buyer's agent, You have to keep all that in perspective and make sure that is included in these costs. Now, what you're paying your agent and what he's paying the cooperating agent should be in your listing agreement with your listing agent. So if you want to know that information, go to your listing agreement, look up how much you're paying your agent and how much he's paying the cooperating agent, and you can use both of those factors to fill in on your commission. Another area that's super important that you capture it on the net sheet is property taxes. And in many areas, property taxes are paid in arrears. And what that means is you'll pay for 2022's property taxes at the end of 2022. So if you sell during the middle of the year, the buyer does not want to get stuck with the bill for the full year. So you're going to have to credit the buyer for property taxes from January 1st till the day that you move out. And so if that move out date gets extended, then the amount of property taxes you owe is going to be a little bit higher. And so because of that proration, your closing date is important that you get that as accurate as possible on your net sheet. Now, homeowners fees can be the same way. Sometimes they're billed monthly, sometimes they're billed quarterly, sometimes they're billed annually. Sometimes they're paid in advance and sometimes they're not. So however they're paid, you're going to have to work that out and make sure it's prorated to the date of closing for the buyer and the seller, or at least that's how most contracts are written. Thank you for watching this video on buying a home. If you liked it, hit the like button so we'll know that you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below and I'll be sure to answer every one. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss an episode. Take care and have a great day.